Welcome to English Snap Lab, where mastering English is as easy as a snap. One of the best ways to learn a language is through stories. They are emotional, interesting, and easy for our brains to remember. In this series, I tell famous stories from world literature in slow, clear, and simple English to help you understand more easily. While you listen, you will hear many useful English words and expressions. Today's story is an inspiring tale by Jean Giono, the man who planted trees. This story is perfect for learning environmental vocabulary, words like reforestation, barren, and acorns, and practicing the passive voice. Before we begin, please take a second to give this video a thumbs up. Let's begin. Part 1. The Barren Land. Many years ago, a young man was hiking through a wild and lonely region in the French Alps. The land was barren. When land is barren, it is too poor to produce much or any vegetation. There were no trees, and the wind blew over the hills with a lonely, dry sound. It was a place where nothing grew, and the villages were abandoned. The traveler searched for water but found none. He felt hopeless in this desert of stone. However, he soon met a shepherd named Elzéard Bouffier. Bouffier was a man of few words, but he had a great purpose. He lived a simple life, and he spent his days doing something very unusual in such a dry, empty place. Part 2. The Acorns and the Passive Voice. The traveler watched as the shepherd sat by his fire. The man had a bag of acorns. An acorn is the small nut of an oak tree. He began to sort them carefully. The best acorns were selected, and the small or cracked ones were thrown away. This is a great time to look at the passive voice. In the passive voice, the action is more important than the person doing it. We use the formula to be plus past participle. Active, the man selected the acorns. Passive, the acorns were selected. The next day, the shepherd took an iron rod and began to make holes in the earth. In every hole, an acorn was placed. He was not planting for money. He was planting because he believed the land deserved a soul. Part 3. The Miracle of Reforestation. Years passed, and the traveler returned to the same hills. He expected to see the same dry desert, but he was shocked. A miracle of reforestation had occurred. Reforestation is the process of planting trees in an area where there used to be a forest. Where there had been gray stones, there were now young oak trees. Water had returned to the streams because the trees held the moisture in the soil. Birches and maples were also planted by the wind and the birds. The air was no longer dry. It was fresh and sweet. Because of one man's work, the entire ecosystem was transformed. An ecosystem is a biological community of interacting organisms and their physical environment. Part 4. A Living Legacy. Elzéard Bouffier continued to plant until he was a very old man. He did not seek fame or thanks. He lived quietly while the forest grew around him. By the time he died, the abandoned villages were rebuilt. New families moved back to the hills, and the sound of laughter was heard where there had only been the sound of the wind. The forest stands today as a monument to what one person can do. This story shows us that even when things seem barren, change is possible through patience and hard work. Learning Summary, English Snap Lab. In today's lesson, we focused on the environment and a key grammar point. Barren, land where nothing can grow. Acorn, the nut of an oak tree. Reforestation, planting new forests. Passive voice, used when the action, the trees were planted, is more important than the subject. Your homework. Look around your neighborhood. What is one thing that was built or was planted recently? Use the passive voice in the comments. For example, a new park was opened near my house. Thank you for watching English Snap Lab. If you found Elzéard's story inspiring, please subscribe and share. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next story.